did my audition. Yes, sir, I did my audition. Katniss, it's me, beetee. I bet you didn't recognize me with my camouflage makeup. Do you see the talent? I'm gonna leave my Instagram here so the casting director can contact me and tell me that I got cast. But jokes aside, a lot of the auditions were very, very funny.
What was your name again? Haymitch? I'm sorry, more like hey bitch.
The killer, he's escaping!
Shut the fuck up!
And all of this was happening on TikTok. I was like, wait, I need to read the book because I haven't read the book of Sunrise on the Reaping. And the cast for this movie looks so good.
Do you know all this casting news for Hunger Games? Do you know all these people in advance, or are you with us here?
I'm with you. I'm very much with you.
Now, can I be honest, please? This is my video. I did not live fluff love the book. Oh. I know, I'm sorry, but I did not live laugh love. And let me tell you why. There were some parts or some scenes in the book that I really liked. I thought like, that's clever, I like that, whatever. But almost all of the book, I did not like. Let's break it down, what I liked and what I did not like about the book. First, let's talk about the reaping scene. When Haymitch gets called to participate in the Hunger Games, I really liked it because it seems like every time the reaping takes place in District 12 that we know of, there's always like some drama, right? Like Katniss, she volunteered for her sister. Lucy, you can kiss me! And then Haymitch, he got illegally picked because his name wasn't even picked from the bowl. I really like that. I like that there's always some drama when it comes to choosing somebody from District 12. Also, I really like the lady that is not Effie. I forget her name. I really like her character because I feel like she's a good representation of what the capital is. You know, she doesn't like them. She treats them like shit. She's like, yeah, y'all are poor and dirty and I don't want to be here. And I feel like that's very much what the capital thinks of District 12, right? Effie, on the other hand, I really like her character, but she was so sweet and gentle that you forgot that she was playing for the other side, if that makes sense. I feel like this lady, like I said, she's a good representation of what the capital is. It just makes that contrast between District 12 and the capital much more evident. I really like that she was picking fights with Macy Lee. I really like that. Like, it seemed very true to the capital's character, if that makes sense. One of the things that I did not like is that it felt after Haymitch gets picked and, you know, he goes to do the Hunger Games thing, whatever, it started to feel like it was like a very name drop type beat because we get Plutarch. What a coincidence that Plutarch is working at District 12. What a coincidence. Then I feel like it makes sense that Wiress was mentioned because she's the victor from the previous game, so it makes sense that she's mentioned. But what is she doing there? No, because what is she doing there? Because when it was Katniss games, you know, the Hunger Games, you don't see the victor from the previous game hanging around them. He's not there. I don't even know who the victor was before Katniss. So why is Wiress there? I know they're saying like, oh, she's gonna be the mentor, but what a coincidence. Again, what a coincidence. Then we have Max. Again, what is she doing there? Okay, I know she is going to be the mentor, but why do we need two mentors? I know there's 4 kids now, but what a coincidence. It felt very much like they were name dropping people and trying to add characters that we the readers already know just to nostalgia bait us. Does that make sense? It makes sense that a lot of the victors were in the Catching Fire story because that quarter quill was for victors only. That makes sense. But this quarter quill is just that it's gonna be double the amount. So why do we have so many victors there? You see what I'm saying? It feels very nostalgia baiting. It feels like they're trying to bait us. Like, oh, I already know that character. Oh my god, what was she like before we get to know her in the Katniss story, whatever. You see what I'm saying? The other thing that I did not like is that, okay, so in this quarter quill, the amount of tributes is double, right? Like we have 48 people. I already know, like if you have watched the Hunger Games movie and you know the franchise and you know how the games work, I already know that all of them are going to die. Because I already know that haymitch is the victor, right? So why wouldn't you give them the chance to be introduced to us, the readers? Like, I really wanted to get to know all the tributes from every district. Because like I said, I already know they're going to die. Like, I want to see new characters. I don't care about Max and Iris and beetee. Like, I don't care about them. I already know them. I want to get to know new characters. Why are we not talking about the new characters? Like, they felt, the tribute felt very much like extras. Everything felt in this book, that's what I did not like. Everything felt like very convenient. Like the coincidences.
There is no such thing as a coincidence.
Were very convenient for haymitch and for the story. Does that make sense? The other thing that I did not like, this actually pissed me off, it's the forced correlation between haymitch and President Snow. It felt force. Again, what a coincidence that haymitch was in love with a singer girl. I forget the name. Covey. What a coincidence that he's in love with one of those girls. It felt like they were forcing this connection between haymitch and President Snow just to have President Snow single out haymitch, because out of all the 48 tributes, and I know that something happened in the... But what a coincidence, again, what a coincidence that they have so many similarities.
Coming back down towards us, and he goes, run, he's got a gun.
Why would President Snow go through the trouble of bringing haymitch to like a private conversation? Like, for what? Why would President Snow leave him alive for so long? Like, it just doesn't make sense. That's another thing that I did not like. haymitch's girlfriend, Leonard Dove, it felt like she was Lucy all over again. And haymitch was like this weird version of Katniss. It feels very repetitive. The relationship between haymitch and beetee. Beetee has his own son in the games. Why would beetee single out haymitch out of all the 47 other kids besides his son? He will single out haymitch, trust him, and tell him his plan. What a coincidence. It doesn't make no sense. It just doesn't make sense. It just felt, again, very convenient for the storyline. It felt very convenient for haymitch that happened like that. In Catching Fire, if I'm not mistaken, the way that haymitch talks about beetee and Iris is very much like they're very smart, but they're like weird, whatever, this and that. The way that he's talking about them doesn't seem like, oh my god, like I have a connection with beetee because he actually, you know, he helped me with my games, and Iris as well.
Not fighters, but brilliant and weird, real tech savvy.
I want Iris and beetee.
Joanna calls them nuts and bolts.
Well, okay, good. Now, who else?
Mags. All right, fine, then no one.
I'll tell them you're still making up your mind.
The way that he talks about them is very foreign. It's very like, oh yeah, I don't know too much about them, but they're smart, but they're like cuckoo in the head. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's the way that he talks about them in Catching Fire. You're telling me that Iris and beetee helped haymitch win, because that's the truth. They helped him win, and they're not like this after everything? It just doesn't make sense. I already know that haymitch is going to win. I know that. But after having read the scene about the conversation between haymitch and Snow, I'm like, okay, maybe he won't win, because Snow is very like, you cannot win this game. It's like, I'm gonna make sure I get rid of you. So how is it that President Snow tells him that, but then haymitch ends up winning the games? That didn't make no sense. Also, after what haymitch did at the entrance ceremony, why didn't the capital people kill haymitch first? Why would they let him live after all the trouble that he's caused? Why isn't he the first one to go? What a coincidence. Every time something happened in the games that, I don't know, haymitch was working with somebody, by a coincidence that person got killed by mods or something happened, and then haymitch was alone. haymitch only had one tribute. I did not like that. When you see the games, everything is just so convenient for haymitch. He's talking with beetee's son, then the kid dies. Mayseely, the same thing. The other girl, the same thing.
Do something!
It's almost like he didn't have to do shit, and everybody that was around him conveniently died. Why Mayseely and why not him? Again, why the Capitol chose to target her instead of him? Like, it doesn't make sense after the conversation that he had with President Snow. Why would they leave him alive after what he did at the entrance ceremony? Like, it doesn't make no sense. So the thing that I did like about the book was that the way that it was written, the pace of the book, I think it was very quick. Something happened and then cliffhanger, and then something happened and then cliffhanger. So I couldn't stop reading the book. I read it very, very fast. It was very easy to read it. Like, there's some books that sometimes they have so many things going on that you get tired of reading it, and I'm like, okay, let me take a break and I'll pick it up 2 days later or whatever. No, this book I read it non-stop, right? Like, I barely took breaks to finish this book. That I like. But then when you analyze the story and some of the plot twists, for me, a lot of the things in the story did not make sense. Oh, another thing. What a coincidence that Haymitch is friends with Katniss' dad. Is there nobody else in District 12? Because I feel like I keep seeing the same names over and over again. Again, it feels like a coincidence just in order to name drop. Why wouldn't the author make a new character instead of trying to add connections with Katniss' story? Do you get what I'm saying? It felt very forced. And then Leonard Dove. I'm gonna say this, I love music, but in this book it gets to a point. Like, the songs were a little bit too much. The poetry was a little bit too much. Like,
wow, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
And I shouldn't talk shit about the songs and the poetry, because right now I'm writing a story and it has a lot of poetry, bad poetry. But hearing the story, it felt like the songs and the poetry was interrupting the story. It's like the pace of the story was being interrupted by a song. Was it really necessary? Again, it gets to a point, it was bothering me. It was bothering me. Why are there so many songs and poems? Jokes aside, I feel like I would have enjoyed this book a little bit more if they gave Haymitch a little bit more of trouble. Like, if the story made Haymitch do things, right? Behave a certain type of way that made him feel ashamed, that made him feel like, oh my god, like, I shouldn't have done that. Like in the Hunger Games themselves. But like I said, because everything was so conveniently set up for him to win, like, there was no trouble for the most part. That's what I did not enjoy. Yes, we found out the reason why he became an alcoholic at the end. Obviously, they killed his mom and his brother, and then they killed his girlfriend, and that's why he loses. Like, I get that, but like, I feel like the game should have played out differently. So yeah, I still like better the Katniss books and the Katniss storyline. And no, it's not because I watched them first, it's just the Katniss books, especially Catching Fire, is just so good. It's just so good. It's just so good. The plot twist, everything, the arena, the clock, everything, the context of the book, like, everything is so good. Let me know if you like the book. If you like the book and you don't agree with me, that's fine. Let me know if there were other things that you didn't like that maybe I didn't mention, or maybe there were some things that I didn't like and you liked them. Let me know and why. We can discuss them in the comments. After this video, they're not gonna cast me, obviously, because I'm talking shit. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you when I see ya, okay? Bye!
You'll be married in a year in the suburbs with a kid on the way in 3.